I'd like to talk a little bit more about the aging piece and why, as a society, we are scared and resistant to aging. And I also want to preface that by saying, like, we talk about resisting entropy a lot, and we
Hmm.
do talk about resisting a lot of the negative physical effects of aging through resistance training and great lifestyle and everything that we do as fitness coaches. So we we are actively trying to resist aging in a lot of our behaviors throughout the day. Is that bad?
No, biologically, aging puts you closer to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
we
we're all trying to survive, right?
exactly, yeah. So we want to resist that entropy. We want to resist getting worse at things. We want to resist hormones going in the shitter. We want to resist bone density going down. We want to resist muscle mass being, washed away. Yeah, we do want to resist those things because that does put us closer to death. As humans, as we age, that's what we're doing, right? Like we're getting closer to dying as we age. Not aesthetically though. We're not talking about aesthetically. We're talking about like what's going on underneath the hood and how we feel on a day-to-day basis. So the aesthetics of aging are may just be a reminder to people that they're getting closer to death. So maybe people don't want to be reminded with how old they actually are because they're trying to avoid the truth.
Yeah, the weird disconnect for me there is the defying of the aesthetics of aging, but like giving into letting go of vitality and being okay with not feeling physically able to do things you enjoy and like losing muscle mass and all of these other pieces, but still trying to defy the outward effects of aging that other people see. Why, if we're scared of aging and we're scared of this like notion of death, why is everyone not trying to do both?
Um, Hold on. I don't know what you're asking me. Are you asking, you're saying
So
the disconnect is,
there's a lot of people that are going under the knife so that
yeah.
they look a certain way, but they also feel like shit.
Oh,
And
gotcha,
they're not
gotcha.
doing anything to
Gotcha.
improve their
Okay,
vitality.
I'm with you. I think a lot of those people don't understand what good vitality is.
Yeah.
It's the old notion of like I didn't know how bad I felt until I felt good. Like I've heard that so many times where it's like I didn't know this is how we were supposed to feel. Right? It's like someone that didn't know they had bad vision and they put glasses on and they're like, "Oh my gosh, is this what the world is supposed to look like?" It's that same idea where I think a lot of people just don't know what vitality feel like high levels of vitality feel.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's also harder. Like it is harder, right,
Yeah.
to do the things on a daily basis. At least if you're not doing it already,
Hmm.
that are going to help you resist some of the negative side effects of aging and loss of vitality. So I think that's one piece.
Or maybe a good amount of people have never had high levels of vitality,
True.
right? In terms of like being able to move a certain way and stuff like that, right? Like if you walk out, like go to, let me think of a place around here. Everywhere here is a little plastic surgery-y.
Yeah, maybe it's
Uh,
because I live in Scottsdale
yeah,
that I
yeah,
wanted to have
yeah.
this
It's because you're in
conversation.
Scottsdale. No, I mean go to the Grand Canyon,
Yep.
right? I'm just trying to think of a place around here that there's a lot of people. Go to the Grand Canyon, and just kind of scan everyone, and like come up with a score, a vitality score, like a wellness and vitality score for every single one of those people. I'm gonna venture to guess out of 10, you're probably gonna land on like 4 for most people on average. Like most people just aren't like crushing life, right? Like you don't see most people and you're like, yeah, that person's a spring chicken. They can just like, if shit were to hit the fan, like their wallet were to fall down that 6 flights of stairs, they could like run down there and like scoop it up, right? I don't think a lot of people are living high levels of vitality really. Um, yeah, sorry, I keep giving people like the excuse that they don't know what it feels like, but I believe that. I think a lot of people don't know what that feels like.
Definitely. I do also see, and it's not really in your person like coming to get coaching, but it's in conversations I have with people outside of our bubble where aesthetics is what they perceive like vitality slash longevity to be. It's like if you look good, you are doing well. If you're, not over fat and you don't have a bunch of wrinkles and you don't look like you're aging, then you must be well. Like, even if you don't feel it on the inside, even if they're talking about themselves and they don't feel it on the inside, the only thing they're concerned is the aesthetics of their physical being and not actually the function of their physical being.
It's because it's what you can see.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, to be fair, aesthetics and the way that someone looks is a decent indicator of how well they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, if we see someone that's, you know,
that guy
morbidly obese.
The guy that was doing that interview, he said he looked terrible and then he died on the interview.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Long story.
That's a good story.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, the way someone looks is a decent measure, I think, of how healthy they are. I'm not saying like, you know, if someone has an 8-pack versus a 6-pack, that means that they're doing better because they have an 8-pack. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, you know, a morbidly obese person versus someone like you, right? Like if you guys were next to each other, I'd be like, she's probably healthier than that person. So maybe it comes from a little bit of that where that is a bit the case.
Yeah. The other piece around aging that I think is so interesting and like, why are we scared of it, is that like physical growth in our physical being is the only thing that we need to hold on to and that is valuable, right? Because like maybe we hit this, you know, 30, 35, everything starts to decline from there physically, even if we're doing our very best to resist that. There is going to be some.
Emma, can you do like a zoom in?
Carl's like really not happy at me right now.
No, it's good. I'm just disproving your theory here.
Exactly. What was your inside tracker age?
31.
31.
Yeah, 31. So I'm actually 4 years younger than I am.
Yeah.
Under the hood.
Even numbers
Janice's
like that.
was 32.
Oh, is she 30?
She's 33.
Okay, look at you two.
I always told her I was like I'm just younger than you, you know. And now I have data. I'm like, look it says I'm younger than you.
Even numbers like that, which like sure it's like a fun number to have, but like does it actually mean you're gonna like live an extra 4 years? No.
No,
you know?
But they're very clear and like this is how we got to it because this marker is here.
Yeah.
This is how it influenced, so on and so forth. It's just a fun thing to be like. It's actually a decent way to take a bunch of information and like try to measure health based on that information.
But even the fact that that's what you get from it, right? You don't just get a health score. You get your under the hood age, whatever it's called.
Inner age. Trademarked, I think.
Well, here's the thing. As a society, we're obsessed with being younger. Like we want to be younger on the inside, on the outside, everywhere. That inner age trademark plays into that notion. I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. I think it's a good thing. But there's so many other good things that can come from aging, like around our emotional and our mental, growth there. And that's, in some cases, yes, there is decline that happens, and that's really unfortunate. But for other people, they're continuing to develop in those arenas right up until their final day.
Yeah, I just think there's a difference between growing and aging.
Yeah.
Me in my own head, when I hear the term aging, I don't automatically think that person is growing. That person is, having really good experiences and they're learning from those experiences. I don't think that immediately. I'm not saying I'm right, but when I think of aging, I think of the negative things that come with aging.
Yeah.
I don't think of like growth and all of that. I'm not saying that's right, but I think maybe some people are in that camp.
Yeah, I think that's our bias as a society, right? And it's why we want it to have 22-year-old skin when we're 40 years old.
But I don't connect the physical things with that though. You know what I mean? Like I don't think like when I hear like, and it might have a lot to do with the age that I'm at. I'm not like really considering aging right now, right? I'm 35. I'm not like, pushing 50 and starting to think like, oh, okay, like this is something I need to really start thinking about. So again, not to hedge again, but maybe those things aren't in my head quite yet. But I just don't think that, if we were to, again, go to the Grand Canyon and look at all these people, and if we had to measure like, okay, how much, like if we had intelligence scores, not IQ, but like just intelligence scores, and we're like after the age of 40, what's the percentage increase in all of these people's intelligence scores? And there's like 100 people that are like 65. I don't think every one of those people see a drastic increase in intelligence after they, hit 40, 45 years old. Like, I don't think everyone gets smarter as they age. And I just look at people, right? I look at people I grew up around. I look at my neighbors. It's like, I see what they're doing on a daily basis. Like, a lot of those people aren't fucking growing. Like, they're rat racing, right?
Yeah.
They're like working for this money, doing this thing, doing it all again tomorrow, doing it. Like, they're not like doing anything that I know of that's like, this massive growth thing that they're doing in their life. I think they're just aging.
Yeah. And I think that really does come down to how someone ends up living their life. But I do think aging is an opportunity for experience.
Yep.
And there can be a lot of growth that comes through experience, but people have to make the decision to go ahead and pursue that. Because otherwise, they are just not resisting entropy and declining.
But I also don't connect aging and experience.
Yeah.
Imagine onboarding a client and you're thinking, what is their training experience? It's like they can be 60 and that number could be 0.
Yeah.
That could be in anything, right? It's like, just because someone's aging doesn't mean they're experiencing beneficial things or new things.
Definitely not.
So yeah, it obviously is like, it correlates to what the person is doing and all of that. But in my head, I don't automatically think experience and growth come along with aging automatically. They do for a lot of people, but just because you're getting older doesn't mean your experiences are more vast. You may be doing the same exact thing every day and not growing at all.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. I know some 25-year-olds that have had more life experiences than some 65-year-olds. So, it always does come down to the individual.
Yeah.
Important lesson there.
Yeah.